So today we're just going to pick up again on our Innovo dashboard building. If you want to watch, there's part one and two, I think, where we talked about shaping and framing, and we kind of talked about just how we breadboarded some projects. Today I'm just going to jump in and share my whole screen here. I'm going to start first. Let me grab this one here. I've got a few different screens going on. Let's get this here. And yeah, here we go. So we talked last time about just we took some ideas from our team meeting. We've like worked them into some stickies. We've like worked some beautiful sketches here, fat marker sketches. We've had a few sessions of figuring out like our process and how things are currently paid in the business, and then how things need to be, what kind of our future process will be. We've talked just kind of outlining even how our shaping process happens. So this is sort of a little bit of a shaping inception since we're doing breadboarding about how we do breadboarding. So that's a new one. And we've talked a little bit about like little sketches of maybe like how these could look different screens and stuff. So this is all on one giant board. I think we had a session here. We shaped up a problem, and then I think we got another one here where we kind of clarified that this was a new view about having control, and we talked about how we like chopped up the project. And then I think we went through this. Yeah, we actually had this navigation, and clients can do go through this. So this is a kind of a recap. We've been building this as we go, and so we used this the kind of task grid, what we call. So we each one of those little components. So if we take a blob, we call this random blob a project here. There's lots of things that are kind of stand on their own here. So this client view, we technically could build the back end, build the front end, and then we can go in and actually ship that, start using it, and we can actually go to the next thing. And these sort of independent parts of the project. So we typically go in and build those out here. You can see we don't even fill all nine. We use a little tilde here if this is like nice to have if we get time for it. This is where I've spent most of my time building out some of these tasks. And you can see there's not a lot of detail here. It's just enough for me to remember it. I don't need to assign this to someone necessarily. I'm taking this whole little block myself. Sometimes we'll go here and I'll, say this is for Bruce or this is for Lucian or something like that if we were doing this together. But this is just really a scratch pad for me to have this. It doesn't sync with anything. It doesn't connect to anything, but it's here. And if I do go to our project here, I'll just say this is sort of what our view would look like. We have a task grid link, we have the breadboard link, which is this guy. This guy's the task grid, and we can get to a few different things there. So we share a few updates. I sent something yesterday to the team, and so far we have added a couple little things here. So now, if you go to like the client dashboard here, we can actually pick out like a project. Like we'll go to, I'll pick out these guys, and you can see which projects they have open. You can actually open this here, and you can uh, go to like a quick little jump to Notion if you want. You can open it and toggle if you want. You can actually drag these things around if you want, and that will actually update it in Notion live, which is pretty helpful. And so then we created this share page. So the share page is something we can share with the client, and it's just got this like long ID, and they can't do anything with it, which is great. So they can't actually click on anything. You can technically use the Notion, but you'd have to have access to that page. So that's pretty well protected. And then if they do want to sign in, they can do that. There's not really any benefit to signing in right now, but I wanted to have a logo, and it looked weird not having a sign in button. So there we go. So that's kind of this first little thing, which I would say considered completed. We added the card UI, drag and drop. You can see just kind of how we broke out these little tasks, being able to write to Notion and Supabase at the same time, collapsing the inbox and completed. I wanted to be able to like open this and open the completed, because these are things we don't really look at inbox that much. We don't really look at completed. So it's nice to have it on the side. I stole that from the Fizzy Do app. They have this little thing, so I stole that from that UI. Um, and then we had like the public share URL. They have an option to sign in. And then we added tooltips. I actually added this since clients, you can actually hover over this and it tells them what's going on in this section. So here we're getting the initial scope of the project. Here we're creating clarity and making requirements concrete. Project is clear, concrete, and approved. In progress, we're actively building, and then in review, we're working together to finalize. So just as we scale and we get new clients, these are helpful things, or new team members even. These are like some very short definitions. If we forget what's going on in each of these, I thought that would be like a nice little value add. So I'm going to jump over. Sorry, I'm going to add the team back into this here, and let me just bring the share my screen. Let's see if it'll work. Aha. Sorry, let me go back here. Taking a second, and I got to go here. Zoom in, and there we go. So you guys are welcome to jump in with any questions or comments. But what I thought would be helpful is just to kind of show you the workflow of like how we would go about maybe making this projects by month. And I can show you guys the Claude skills piece. So any quick comments or questions from anything I showed you guys? I don't know if everybody had seen this other than Lucien and Macy maybe, but you guys got any thoughts? Cool. Let me add.
I like how
Bruce, I have a question.
Yes, go for it.
I missed the beginning. Was this recorded? So I can watch the?
Yeah, this was just the first few minutes. Yeah, we're just jumping into it.
All right.
Yeah, me too.
Sweet. It was just a recap of the first part 1 and part 2 we did like end of December, so I didn't really miss anything. So yeah, I'll go in if you guys want. I was going to kind of talk through how I would maybe move this through, and some of you guys are like familiar with this, but I was going to show you my process. And before I do that, let me show you. I wanted to show you guys this this video. I'm going to drop it down here. Here we go. If you guys aren't following Riley Brown, he's really good, and he's on YouTube, and he's not a developer, and yet he is teaching a lot of developers how to. There we go. So I'll drop that link if you guys want it. But this is about Claude skills, and so what this does is it's going to create a skills folder. So in your .claude directory, you're going to have like I have a new skill called Innovo UI. So inside my project, and you just prompt it. You're like, this is the whole part here. I just went and said like, oops, well, it doesn't do well when you zoom in and out. Let's go back. Let's see if that works. You guys noticed? There you go. I'll just start here. I won't change the zoom, but hey, I want to make a new skill, and you can just reference this thing. It's GitHub Anthropic skills. There's a whole bunch of documentation on that. I think I can open it here, pull it in. So yeah, the skills are kind of like how we used to have like agents, but it's a little bit more flexible than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a thing called Innovo UI. So when I build a new component, I want it to look and be styled like the Innovo brand, for example. This is so fun scrolling around here. Claude really is struggling to. There we go. And it's going to create the skill file. I'll pull it over here. And you can see it's basically got like the brand colors. It's got some of my styling of what we like, typography. Like we already have. Wow, it's kind of hard to show it while it's literally drawing it right this very second. So let's this all here. Are you guys confused by my workspace yet? Okay, let me just close this. I don't really need to look at that right now. Font families, hierarchy of like, hey, we use this for page title. Then for normal text, we use this. For technical little badges and stuff, I like the font mono. it's got some general principles. So what it's going to do is if I go and in the skill at the very top, it's always going to have a name for the skill. And then it's going to say, hey, this is the design system and UI guidelines for Nova Studios. Use this skill when building new pages, components, modifying existing UI, ensures consistent, professional, bespoke agency aesthetics that avoid generic AI generated patterns. Emphasis on the avoid generic AI patterns, right? So because now I think everybody's kind of a little sick of seeing kind of AI vibe coded components at this point. They all have like soft blue background, blue border. They kind of have like a certain look to them, and for some reason, if you guys have seen the jokes, like the Tailwind purple and gradient is like the thing that AI is obsessed with. So let's see if you can get out. So I think I specifically said like avoid gradient somewhere in here. I don't remember. I think that was the question. So, but when I created this, let me go back. See if I can try to show you the process here. Yeah, I made this. Then it asked me questions. So it takes you through the little wizard. And it said, hey, what kind of fonts do you want to use? And I said, hey, use the home page for reference. Like you go figure that out yourself. What kind of balance do you like? So they had some questions about like, do you want it more compact, more white space, avoid all gradients together, to make sure it doesn't look AI generated. So I put a few little points in there. What's the preferred button interaction? I just gave them some quick things that like, and these are things that I've been kind of saying over and over again. And it fits. I don't even think that's our website. I don't know where it pulled that from, but border radius, it kind of clarified that. It just asked me a few questions and then it built this document off of this. So in theory, what I can do now is we can clear the context and you can see there's a new skill. So I'll actually commit that here. But first, let's test it. So I'll just going to try this live. Let's see how it goes. Now I got to think of something to do. Let's just do like, let's say for we have a like a really blank team dashboard. Update I think it's team dashboard like this to include the, and I think we have this. Let's see. I'm actually going to do something a little more simple. Let me do something that, let's say like update. Let's just say like build a quick mock-up in of what team members could see based on in the project. So we'll just say like, and I think I can include here. Let's just see what it does. I'm going to auto accept everything. I do this a lot to have it do a quick mock-up. Of course, I also love, as you guys know, V0. So I did this to quickly get like, hey, we've got this like status thing going on here by like the columns, but maybe we want to look at it by month. So I was like, maybe there'll be a toggle here. I'm not quite like decided on it yet, but you can see the AI, like this is the gradient stuff. This like stuff drives me crazy. And for some reason, this yellow, it's like obsessed with this yellow and this color scheme. Yeah, so having something that I can quickly mock up, I don't use this code. I just get a quick like sketch of it. This is the same kind of concept in here. And I wanted to see what we should see is a little green dot like that once it starts building. And it's going to invoke the Innova UI skill automatically. I didn't have to call it. I didn't mention it. It just sees that I'm designing something new. And it should just invoke that. So this is a great thing where you could add a number of skills. If we were framing something, shaping something, if we were having like a technical audit skill, these are things we could also pass around and share between all of us. And I just went ahead and said auto accept. So I'm not going to ask it. Normally I would put it in plan mode. So shift tab, we put it in plan mode. And I want to see if it's invoking this because that's what it should have done. It's just writing a bunch of stuff. So we'll see what it does. And if it listens to any of the instructions, well, it says it's done. Let's see. Okay, it's not too bad. I don't know what this R21 is. That like supposed to be a different currency? AI. It did do some gradients. Not too bad though. I'm curious why it didn't invoke. Did you like use at? No. I'm just curious. It should have. I mean, it may have to like reset the session or something. I didn't. Let me check what's in there. Well, great demo, Claude. I'm trying to sell the features here. But in theory, yeah, you would go through this. You shouldn't have to invoke it. It should use what it uses is the description up here. Use this design system. As long as this is specified well, it should invoke it at the right moment. It may be that I had to stop the session and start a new session. So we'll see what it comes up with. Anything slightly different, but anyway, that'd be how you would use it. If we had another client, we could have skills for like a particular client's UI would be good. If we're building things like I don't know, just if we had a certain backend architecture for Tribe, like this is how the API. So we could have a Tribe backend skill that's like, here's how we like this, or if we have the Pando app of how it needs to work with flat file, something like a flat file skill, you could actually add that in there. And I'm still not seeing it. Like it should actually have like a little green dot, and it's bothering me that I don't see that. So but we'll see what it does. Maybe it'll be better. Yeah, it changed one font and a few of the text. It's fine. It did get rid of that silly gradient though, so it looks a little better. But you guys get the idea. I wonder if I quit this. Sorry, but anyway, have you guys? I don't know if Janata or how you guys played with Skills yet. It came out like a couple weeks ago.
So Skills are just Claude files, basically, is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, basically, like there's a little video here, but it's like you can put all kinds of instructions or scripts or things that Claude can use to do various things.
It's similar to Cursor rules, I believe. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, but you could. It's supposed to be smart to where you can you just add the skill, and then it will by itself figure out what needs to when to invoke the skill. Whereas like there used to be agents, so you could have like an agent MD file, and I would call my backend agent to go do backend things. This is a little bit more like it's going to give you. It's like a tool call essentially. You could set the tool up to do something, and then obviously pass it between projects. Like if I had this dashboard as a repo, and then I had a different one that's just doing like the marketing website for Enovo, I could like share that skill, to two places if we wanted to. Does that make sense? It's very similar to an agent and cursor rules, but also slightly different.
I think on the end, like they are all trying to create different ways for us to create different contexts. Like it's a way that we are basically how we are going to build our prompts, because in the end, everything that we are configuring here, I believe, is just being added as a pre-prompt to the prompts that we are making. So it's basically a helper for context. But I think like the real thing is like how well the model itself can decide if this skill is applied in this situation or not. Because if we mention, it works nice, but if we rely on the model for this decision, sometimes it gets, sometimes it doesn't. But I am testing a little bit with Cloud A skills, and I think now Cursor also has like they actually deprecated the Cursor rules, and they implemented a new model that I think it's agents and skills as well. So they are all playing around and trying to find the best way for context building, I believe.
Yeah, I think, yeah, basically. And just something to try. The idea would be to, obviously there's the Claude file as well, which is kind of general stuff for how Claude can work on this project. But there's also like, obviously we're getting better with like context. One thing to be using a lot here, if I get Claude going again, is to use the context window. So you can actually visualize this context and it will grab a little, I don't know if you guys have seen this, like this is very useful. Just hit /context and it will actually tell you, what's going on here as far as what the, 200,000 tokens are being used for. And I apparently just started a brand new fresh one and already at 13% on a brand new session. So just shows you like all the things that it's pulling. Lets you kind of, what I'll do is I'll sort of do a planning phase and it will write all these things to my root Claude folder sometimes. And then once I'm done in the planning phase, I'll then like compact it so you can easily go, hit /compact. It'll like at that point compact it itself, get it kind of summarized, and then just go execute on the plan that you've already approved. So what you don't want to do is be at like 80%, 90%, and then it just auto compacts. You're pretty much like that destroys your session right there. So this context window management obviously is good. But there's a lot. I mean, this little / command, you can see there's a ton of things that get that are available in here. If you guys are, just check out all the stuff about. I've got MCPs for Supabase, for example, set up. You can obviously do PR reviews and commits and all that stuff. So anyway, that's like a little bit of just how I've been using it. And I think we're like all in, I think we're like maybe 7 hours into this project, which it's doing quite a lot. But as far as time spent tracked in Toggl, I think I'm like less than 7 hours all in. So obviously we're taking some time to like talk it through on these calls, but yeah, 12%. See, everything's syncing now. Yeah, well, I've got a session from this morning, so maybe like we're at 5 hours out of the 25. But this just shows like how much you can do with very little, because the way I'm doing it is like, this is like 1 or 2 deep work sessions to knock out that whole slice. So that's where if you can do part of it, you do a second part of it, that's a great checkpoint to make a video. So that's where I came in here. I made a video for, I think I tagged Lurchin and Macy because they're specifically tracking this project with me. And I just did this. I just basically gave the highlights of what cool features we have and a 3-minute video. And then anyone can tune in and watch it. And as I move to the next thing, that's actually been shipped. I've already published that in production, and I'm already sharing URLs with clients at this point. So this is already being used, and we're actually creating value. Then move into the other. Now, of course, we could have made this a 1-week project, and like this, each one of these could have like been its own project. But you kind of have to like, it's really not, because this is like 1 or 2 sessions. Once it was really clear and we kind of had some good plan here of like what this flow was going to be for the clients. And also we got really clear, I think last time, if you go back and watch the videos, the problem was not having control over what users can see. Like, what can a client see and do, and what can a what can a team member see and do, and then what can an admin see and do. Those are kind of the things that were blocking us. And so we're essentially just figuring out Notion's like shortcomings, having to take like if we went to, if I grabbed one of our client pages, is something we would use for the clients. And if I shared this client, I'd have to share the entire Notion database with the client, all our projects for the entire company. Then I have to share all the task database, I have to share all the client stuff. It's quite messy, and I don't really have control over what they can see and do. And so what's nice about the new share thing here is like I have full control over what they can and can't do on this page, which is perfect. So we don't run any risk of them. And they only can see their projects. They can only see certain things. So it got clear when it was really just about like recreating some Notion views. Yeah, so that's good. But okay, so that was only 30, not even, we're like 24 minutes into this. So I was gonna go, the next thing I was gonna do is maybe just like build out another one of these blocks together, just see how far we can get. You guys are up for it. Any other questions or thoughts?
I got one. How do you do your planning sessions? Do you just tell Claude to like write it out to a file and then you use that next?
Yeah, well,
Or
let's do one because so like now let's add another view to client dashboard. We'll just say like currently we have a Kanban by status. I want to do one by invoice date by month, and I'll just grab. I don't have to be. Don't have to come up with all this stuff. We actually have a great little time schedule here. It kind of looks like this. I'll just say like, all right, here we go. This view in Notion. I'll just paste images. It loves images. It's very good at, oops, I may have put that in twice.
didn't know you could paste directly in there. I make a screenshots directory and I'm like, go look at the screenshots.
No, just command. I use oh man, a clean shot. Command Shift R. Command Shift 4. We screenshot right there. It saves it to my clipboard, and I just paste. So that I would just simply just clipboard and paste. Like I wouldn't put it anywhere. And then I've got, you hit Shift Tab, and as I Shift Tab, it goes between accept edits. That's just like YOLO, essentially. And then plan mode is what I typically would start on. So it's going to start this, and I've given it generally the things, and you can still talk to it. So I'll say like, I do want like a toggle to get between these two views on the same page. I also want, so there's this phrase, I think it's called like selective disclosure or delayed disclosure or something like this. You don't tell absolutely everything to Claude in the first prompt. Let it like slowly go through and figure this all out. It's going to come back with some sort of plan here in a second. So we'll give it a second, see what it comes up with. But we should be able to knock this out. And it should know that we like part of my skills as well, if it does invoke that, I'm not sure if it will, but was to reuse as many components as possible because it's very quick to like just spin up brand new things. And one of the best things here, I keep this here. So I'm actually going to discard those changes. I'll go ahead and like, I'll just say like V1 of Lenovo UI skill. And I'll kind of start with a clean slate here because we haven't told it to change any files yet. But I typically, my flow is like one, do planning mode, and I'll go and do something else while it's doing this because this can take a couple minutes if you're on Opus 4.5. It does do a very good job the first pass, I think. And then once it's good, I execute on it. And as soon as I execute on it, I'm like, okay, what did you actually change? Like then I click through each and every file. And I do like this GitHub desktop app just because it's very quick to get around files. And then I can see what it changed. And immediately I'll go say, why did you create, this other component? We already have that. Or why did you create this other API route? We don't need that. And it's like, oh, you're absolutely correct. Absolutely right. Let me do it the right way. So then I'll just prompt it until it's done. Once we get kind of a working version, I'll commit it locally. Okay, so it's trying here. And it typically like goes a little bit too verbose. One of the first things I tell it is like, this plan is too verbose. Here we go, single file change. So that's good. We're only changing that. Reuse existing data. Invoice data is already fetched. Project card reuses existing component. Perfect. Same toggle UI. And I think not sure if it kept the Kanban board. Let's just check. Do toggle. That's fine. So it's got the little status or by invoice date. Sorry, it does this every so often. It just jumps. Okay, so let's take, so it's asking if I can just like move all verification. I'll just say I'm ready. It gets very confused with this. Like I'm already running the app. It loves to spin up a brand new npm run dev, and then it's going to run into like port problems because we're fighting over the same port. It's really dumb. And then say I want it in a mn style, same as status. I also want drag and drop view. Dragging and dropping, should update Notion same way. And then it may have some questions. The new little wizard thing is quite nice. And I'll just say the plan is a bit verbose. And this could be maybe a planning skill I could invoke later, which is maybe just more of a minimalist approach. It seems to get, you guys got the client drop down, the toggle up there. Even this little diagram is not too bad. The column there, total number of projects are there, project card. So it should work well. Let's see what it comes back with. This is always like when you're making a tutorial, you just pause the video. Okay, here we go. So look, okay, this is see how nice this is? Just I can look at this and breathe. The other one was insane. Add this view, switch that. We're changing that one file, add a view mode. Here we go. Projects by month, handled this. API. Okay, it's going to create a new route, which is fine. I don't care. Patch the endpoint. Yep, that's fine. Same pattern. Okay, that's good. Month keys, that's good. They'll do by, and so it did include this no date. So I can, you can ignore no date projects. But now we've got a lot less to update. So the plan coming back the second round should be much easier. And I just let it do this because I don't go and find, this is a file that it writes somewhere on my desktop. Here we go. It's in Claude plans abundant cuddling mochi or whatever, whatever it makes up its own little code name. Okay, so then I'll just check here. It hasn't done anything. That's good. And I could compact it, but I can also at this point just hit context, see where we're at. We are only 30%, so I'm just going to go crazy and say...
I missed about a minute. How did you bring it from plan of 200 lines to what you have now, about 40 lines?
Oh, I said you're being too verbose. Make it concise.
Oh, okay.
I just asked it. It's like, this is too much. You're trying too hard. And then I switched it, hitting Command Shift Tab. As you can see, the little command here, and I can also put it on. Sorry, and it needs to be in auto accept. I'm just gonna let it know because I don't, or else it pops every single thing up here. I just want to let it take one whole pass at it. Then you can see we're gonna add the toggle state, project by month grouping, all this stuff. And now I'll just typically hang out and look at this so we can quickly see what it's starting to change. And you can just kind of skim this stuff, to see where it's being versed. It was doing silly things when I wanted let's take a great example here while we were waiting. For the, let's say we take a project like this. I had this little view and toggle button, and all I wanted was the icon there. And I have the icon in a few places. If you click project connections, I think we have the icon somewhere here. We have it in time tracking, I think. It's here. And basically it just was putting the SVG over and over again, being really dumb. So I was like, this is silly. And there was already a toggle icon file that it could use. And so that was just a little prompt. I was like, hey, you're not being smart, reuse this. And then once it updated, I was like, hey, go ahead and update the rest of the app for all toggle icons to use this one icon file instead of, putting the SVG everywhere. That's a pretty simple example, but let's see. So it's already got the toggle in here. I don't know if I love it up there. And I don't like the word invoice up there. And so let's get something with projects. And also one thing I noticed as well is I do like these parameters when you're building any app. I know this happens specifically on Veritas and anything like this where I'm just showing you my pet peeves because you guys work on the app. So this is stuff I check and bothers me immensely. Veritas is particularly bad with this, but if you're on a page like this and then you refresh, it should stay on the right client. Okay, there's like little things, but what it most of the time will do, if you don't have this parameter, obviously, it just resets. Then it's back to like this blank. Oh, this client doesn't have any projects. So just a little annoying, especially when you navigate, to time tracking, and then you want to hit the back button. That's just much nicer experience than it resetting. Bonus would be like it has a local storage or something where it's like, or some session storage where it like remembers what your last client was. Okay, so it's still going tool use. Let's see what it's doing. Just wants to get diagnostics. I suppose that's fine. I don't know why it's asking for that. Let's see. Oh, there we go. We already got it sort of working. So this one's totaling the weeks. And this one's, so a couple of things that it didn't do. Like I like that these were all like all caps, and they have the certain styling on the fonts there. But we'll, wow, okay, let's just let it check it. Oh, here, so it says it's done. The implementation is completed with no errors. Changes to this. So let's just see if it works. Like, oh, it also, I see what's going on. It's literally going back from the beginning of time. I don't want to break anything. Janata's like, what's he gonna do? Break. Let's just move this to like December. Great example. You see how it jumped? It actually moved. But let's just take a look at it. Did it switch the dates? Yeah, it did. So that's actually working. It visually, it's probably the time zone issue. Check time. No, or something. I moved from January to December, and it showed up in November 1. Okay, and so got this. It's added. So this page has become quite long, and I don't like this being so long because the AI struggles, especially once you start to top like 1,000 lines. You guys know that like it does start to fall apart pretty quick. So let's take a look at this. How big are we? So I'm saying, I just wanted to show you guys like how not haphazard this is, but like how, oh, we did. Now I've really messed up the scrolling here. Oh, there we go. Status. Oh no, it's actually okay. It's just between versions. Oh, fixed. Let's see if this works now. It's not really working. I can diagnose that in a second. That's probably what it is, though. Something like that. Let's move it back to December. Yeah, it's going off by 1. Oh, you know what I didn't do? It's refresh. Just give it a chance. Look at this over here. I'll let it crank on that. But one thing I may tell it right now is like this got a little big. So maybe we can extract this to like a separate file. Again, I'm building it one for humans to look at, but also I'm really building it for the AI to work on it next time. Because right now, if I want to work on either one of these views, I have this one massive file that it has to deal with every single time. Let's turn this client page is too big. Let's make there's a better, like, let's refactor to use one file for status view and one for what's the other one called? Yeah, invoice. Okay, let's see if this worked. Let's fix it. Let it do one thing at a time. So let's say here. Oh, that's just annoying.
So Bruce,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Are we still getting the off by 1 issue?
It is.
So yeah, I was going to ask. One of the reasons why I'm still with Cursor is because it allows me to like hop into another model if I'm seeing one model is like stuck in this way. So I was going to ask you, you don't have to talk about it now, but can you weave in kind of the pros of using Claude Code as opposed to Cursor that you've noticed?
I mean, I've
The
just
pros and the cons.
yeah, I've just gotten. It's like you just use the tool you like. The Opus 4.5 is pretty good. It's your preference. Like that does give you a different option. I didn't have this issue before, but I'm not going to dig into this, but these are the things like you just, it could take another 20, 30 minutes to figure out this piece. It'll figure it out. And what will happen is we'll do some, it'll probably ask to do some debugging console. And I'll copy and paste that back and forth. And normally after that, it gets it pretty.
Have you tried the Sergey Brin approach of like telling the AI? And I do actually do this a lot in Cursor before I switch models. I say, I'm never going to use you again if you don't get this right. Or like, I'll say something
the AI.
No, but this is actually like an approach that Sergey Brin advocated for, and I started trying it, and it actually does yield results. And I don't know what that says about how we're training the AI or something.
What yeah.
It's kind of like
this is
like if you yell at it loud enough, like it will comply eventually.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre.
That's funny. I mean, you can definitely
you try like I'm pretty sure like slash model allows you to change the model in Claude.
I think you did, yeah. But then you're just choosing between Claude, obviously.
Yeah.
I think I accidentally interrupted it.
Yeah, I've had it do something kind of like that too, where it's like it had a function and I was like, oh, also add this, and it replaced the first one. I'm like, no, put that back. And it's like, okay, it's done. And it wasn't. And it's like, okay, now it's done. And it wasn't. And it's like, okay, now it's done. After the fourth time, and I'm like, I need to step away and do something different. I'm like, I might just delete that part and be like, hey, add this feature.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's part of being on the very, very, very cutting edge of everything.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it does go in a spiral for sure. So it's actually like I would keep going in this version. And I think like if I go to this, let's just see if it is. I think it is putting the right date in there. It is getting January. And if I switch this to December, it is writing it now to December. So it's getting it right. It's just we still have the.
Oh, another approach that has been really effective for me is when it's looping like this, is asking it to add like extensive logging, and then I'll do the action I want, and then just copy and paste all the logs and say use this as context to debug.
Yeah, and I just want to show as well, like I did make this. So the first thing I do when we get in a spiral is like I assume that the it's not optimized for, like I have a lot more faith in the AI than probably anyone on this call. So like you guys are like very quick to like, okay, well forget that, I'm going to do it myself. Like I'll assume that like when I mentioned the like 1,000-line page thing, now it's 283 lines. And it's built out a Kanban invoice view and a status view separately. And each of those are only, I think, a few hundred lines. So yeah, 300 lines on that one. And it added 2 new files here and the new route. So I basically break it down a little bit more. And so it's saying it parses strict to this, blah, 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 instead of the new date. Let's see what it does. So let's refresh. Invoice. I also wanted to go ahead and add so we got January. Let's pull it to January. Aha. See? Okay, and then I'll just give it this nice little command like, this is great. I'm way more encouraging than Ira. You better get this right or I'm going to get you fired. I'm like, you're doing great, Claude. What a champ. This is great. I'll just tell it this, like clean up anything you can to get ready for production. And it does like a whole little analysis of everything. And sometimes it'll clean up logs. There's something goofy going on. I don't know if it's happening when I refresh, it's fine. Let me just try this, see if I can recreate it. If I go to the end, it just kind of keeps scrolling on forever. So there's, like if you scroll this way and there's a scroll within a scroll, there is a horizontal scrolling bug. Since it's pretty good right now, and I'm pretty happy with the way this is going, I'm going to go and say like v1 of client invoice view, just to clean that up and then I can see what other differences is happening here. What is it grabbing? So it's cleaning up some unused stuff here. Let's see what it did. Maybe it's standardized. Let's see what it's saying. Found a few things to clean up. Good. You go and do that. Here, all cleaned up, no errors. Here's the final production summary. I think I committed it before it even finished it. There's also a bug. Like a see what it does there. And I'll go and sit right there and hopefully it'll refresh and just fix that for me. I also want to get the, while it's doing that, also I want to change the name invoice to maybe calendar or schedule. What do you guys want to call it? Schedule? I think we call it schedule. Update all files. Okay, let me just, before I hit it with the, it's still there. Still there. So I'll copy that, clear this up. I don't think it does it on this view. Oh, because this one doesn't have enough. Anyway. Okay, I'll fix the scrolly thing. Let's see if it works. Okay, we got 8 minutes left. No, it didn't. It's like every time I get there. Okay, I'm gonna do one of these things like to try to actually fix it for it. See what's going on in here. Yeah, there's something else going on. It's like in this. Yeah, this is last attempt. I'm not going to threaten to fire it, but I will give it this, and then I will not keep you guys. We got pretty far, and I can kind of see what it's doing here. It tried to do max full width, and none of these things actually worked. So it tried to put overflow hidden in there. So it's doing a bit of hacking there, and I don't really see it working. Oh, it's actually the layout that found it. Flex 1, which is expanded. Let me try a smarter approach. Okay. And then this is why I check this, because I want to see these files cleaned up. Very often, it will not clean up its mess, right? Like it just like does V1, it tries V2, it tries V3, fixes on V4, leaves everything from the first 3 versions just sitting in there, right? So you got to like tell it like, hey, I think once, there you go. Okay. So in this case, it did. Let's see if it fixed it. Oh boy, that's fine. Okay, so we could go in like circles with this, but just want to make sure these are like things to avoid. This is why I watch everything that it does in this view. and I can kind of quickly tab these back and forth. It may undo what it just did there. Cool. And we got about 4 minutes left. So this is like, I wouldn't necessarily ship this yet, but I would, once we get this little, this thing fixed, what I want to do is make a few changes here where I want to add the, so in this moment, we've kind of made, so I got client by months, we added the toggle. I'll add these quick. So we go, I'll just say fix scroll bugs, that's open. And we display projects by month or something. And I can just say like, you know, dragging and dropping, updates Notion. It's kind of like my little hit list here. Some scrolling bug. I want to also add the parameter to the URL. So I can remember if I go back and forth, I want to have which view I was in remembered. So that's in there. And look at that. It's so beautiful. It's off by like 50 pixels though. See? Whee! It's so close. I think it's changing between them. And I wonder if you, so it kind of still hits that. And then it just goes a little further. So anyway, I'll keep, I'm not going to make you guys fix the scroll bug, but I just want to show you, like, we ripped through this whole thing in 30 minutes and it's pretty much got a good size feature ready to ship. Now, most of it was in there. We used a lot of the components again, but I kind of knew what I had to do. The other thing I could have done is written out all my requirements here, take a screenshot of this little card, and then sent that to the plan, like when it was in planning mode. But this is where I just drop things like, I know what the scroll bug is. If I hand this to Lucian, he probably won't know what the scroll bug is, right? But I know what it is. I'm staring at it. I'm trying to figure out, I know what this is. It'll be enough for me to know when this little thing is complete, and then I can mark this done. And then that's where having it in this task grid is quite nice, because if I was working with Ira or Lucian on this and they wanted to see like what's left to do, it's pretty quick to like glance at this and see that like this thing would be done. This one's done and this is done. Like, okay, we've got something down here. Then we could start, you know, building out the tasks for this if we had. Again, this is, we still took like a 25-hour project, and we're still not even going to hit like, I don't think we'll get all this done in less than 8 hours or 10 hours for sure. You can get a lot done obviously in this mode, but a lot of the time got spent building these cards in a previous session. So that was kind of a cheat thing, but I did spend some time on those, making that component just right. Then I was able to like just reuse it in a few places. So anyway, I'll go and sit for a few minutes and fix this scrolly thing. You guys, any other thoughts as we wrap up in the next few minutes?
I think it was kind of a good example of where AI, well, I mean, it hits and misses sometimes, but it's almost, I don't know if you've heard of the 80-20 rule before. Kind of, it's like from Tim Ferriss, but basically oftentimes something, you know, 80% of the work can get done in 20% of the time, and it's really nailing that last 20% to perfect that can take a lot of the time commitment. I think sometimes AI is like that, where it can get that 80% down really quickly, and then when you're looking like that last little bug or something, trying to fix it can kind of spin its wheels for a while, but still, you know, obviously extremely helpful to get 80% of the way there. Maybe more like 95 and 5%. Yeah,
for sure. I think, I think what I would like, I'm kind of showing you the like hacky way to do the code piece, because we can get something out and get kind of the first version. And now when I go, if I was to go set this with a client and they like opened it on their tablet and now like there's a new bug, I can go and add those to those little vertical slices, the those task grid. So I know that section's now not complete because there's like a little bug in that one section. So there's obviously more steps to this, but getting something fleshed out quickly, it's only working that way because we've spent like 5 or 6 hours in the breadboarding to get really clear about what we're actually trying to solve. because this was not very clear, and I didn't touch this project for a long time because it was almost overwhelming. Like I didn't know there was so much to do in this project. There's so many features I wanted to add to this dashboard. Every time I opened it, I was like, well, I don't have 8 hours to to sit and like figure this out. So I just then didn't do anything. And so this was nice to kind of scope it down. I think the clarity of like, oh, we just need to create some views for client and a view for the team. And I think we even named the project something like that, like new team view, client view. And yeah, new view for team, clients, and admins. And so now it's like, okay, we just need a view we can share with them. There's lots of other things we can add to it, but just helps you kind of focus down into a small thing to make progress, or else, I don't know, it does. And if you're doing projects for clients or you're working on your own projects, then this is helpful to kind of break it into small pieces. But what I like about this approach with the task grid is you can kind of get like quick wins and stuff that I can share with the team
Right.
or a client in this case. So, yep, sweet, awesome. Yes, very good, cool. Well, that's it. I know we're at 1 o'clock, so I think that's everything I was going to say. So if you guys got any thoughts, we'll keep on this series maybe just to finish this one up maybe next week, but then we'll go on to some other things. But check out the Claude skills, watch some YouTube videos. I'll just leave you with this. Go watch the Riley thing's pretty sweet. He basically made a skill that says, hey, write tweets like me. So he opened a brand new folder on his phone, like set up a project that was like, hey, here's 10 examples of tweets that I write. It figured out his style, made a skill called like Riley tweets or, voice or X posts or whatever. And then he said, now the next step was to go ahead and draft those tweets and load them into Typefully, which is like a scheduler for X and LinkedIn, I think. And he did this in about 4 minutes. It like set up the API, set up the thing. So now he said like he went to just a blank Claude session and just said, I need 10 posts, for next week. And it went and used the skill, wrote the posts, put them all in draft. So he didn't with links, so he could like click on it and it would like open the link in Typefully and it just saved them as drafts. He didn't actually have it posted. But that just kind of, it was a nice little example of how you don't, yes, we can use it for coding, but you can kind of do so much other stuff with it. If you start to think about linking it to other APIs and just kind of thinking of this more of like a general agent that you can use, not just for coding, but you can do it in your terminal. So anyway, lots of cool things, but check that out. And yeah, I think this is all stuff we want to be sharpening our tools on every single week because it is changing all the time.
Yeah.
Totally.
Awesome, guys.
Good stuff.
Good. We'll have a good week. We'll see you guys next week then.
Have a good one.
All right, thank you,
Cheers.
Bruce.